Well, hi folks, hope you're well. Thanks for dropping by. Bit of a change of tack in this video. I want to talk about, so I'm just going to have to zoom in, I'm afraid, or out, one of the two. It always gets me, sorry about this. Come on. There we are. Saves me having to walk backwards, you see. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. Sorry about the intro. I don't edit my videos, you probably gathered. I don't live too far away from the Birmingham Dogs Home, without giving too much away. And I can hear them in the distance barking practically every day. I can hear them. So apart from aeroplanes flying over the house before they land or take off, depending on which way the wind is, yeah, I can't complain. I'm not a complainer. You know, I don't have a baby going to sleep or anything. I don't sleep. I don't work nights and things like that, so it doesn't affect me. But it's like everything else. You get used to it, and it's amazing what we can get used to and do get used to, isn't it? And so just slight adjustment there. I went to the Birmingham Dogs Home just to make it clear that my better half breeds Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. Okay, and I'm a helper. Seems I'm around the house most of the time, but you know, a couple of years ago we had two of the females, two of the bitches, hate the word, kick off a load of puppies on the same week. So at one stage we had about 15 puppies running around the house. It was a delight, heaven. It was hell, but it was a heaven as well. And joyous little things, and they just grow up to be lovely little dogs, don't they? Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. It broke my heart every time one sold, to be honest with you. But I've always liked dogs. My wife and I have had pet cats a couple of times. First cat stayed with us until he died. That was very sad. And then after that, we moved home and got another, and that one was stolen. Quite frankly, it was a pedigree cat. Could never find it. So anyway, still had an affinity for dogs, and my wife decided that wanted a dog. So, with two young children at the time, we decided to get this dog. I'm not saying all dogs are horrible and bite a lot, but I want one that was not going to do too much damage if it did bite. And Cavalier King Charles were probably the ideal pet for if you've got young children, because I've never known a nasty Cavalier. I've seen some with more of a temperament than others, but they're not exactly aggressive. They're little love bugs. And you can't just live with one, you've got to have more than one. They get you at hello. So that's the way I feel about Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. And I'm sure everybody thinks like that about their lovely pet dogs also, regardless of what their design is, if you like. But I used to go to the Birmingham Dogs Home, which was the brand new one. Looks like something out of the, I don't know, like out of a cartoon really, because it seems to be built in the sides of a hill. And it's a fabulous place with fabulous people that work it. Many volunteers walking their dogs. It's absolutely beautifully run, and the dogs are very well cared for and very well fed. They have an on-site vet that's there as well, 24/7, or on call as well. And if you're going to have a dog, consider going to the Birmingham Dogs Home. It's it's not too far away from the airport or off the motorway, and I'm sure you'll read the signs to find it. And it's just worth a visit, because I almost guarantee you'll find a dog that you'll want. So it's worth the trip, depending on how far you're having to come, but it's worth the trip, isn't it? if you're rescuing a dog, because they only keep them for so long, and then if they don't go and get adopted here, they get moved to one other place on the other side of Birmingham to see if change of environment. If they don't get adopted there, sadly they're put down. So, they're all lying in there hoping, these little things, and some big ones. But the big ones have just got soft hearts as well as the little ones. The little ones can be a bit snappy too, But whatever dog you choose, before you go buying puppies, go and look at the adult ones that are probably, need a home too. It's not just all about the puppies. Puppies come with their own set of problems. But an adult, I know so many people who are absolutely delighted with adopting adult dogs in the Birmingham Dogs Home. And you can see them, you can go for a walk with them before you adopt them. And there is a cooling off period where you take it home, and then if you're not happy in a few days, you can bring it back with no questions, And the dogs, you pay an administration fee for the dog, which is peanuts, just for the sake of having to pay something to register yourself with the dog home. But one thing I cannot abide is animal cruelty, and I despise anyone who beats animals of any kind. I just think they're subhuman, and I see people hitting their dogs. Some of the most placid dogs were maybe owners were fed up, or they're just getting angry with the dog, or because the dog's excited. And if I see anybody beating a dog in public, I'm the first there, and I'll let it be known. As big as he is, or as aggressive as they are, I don't care. I'm going to report them. I'll get hold of them. If I see anything that bad, and some guy abusing it, or a woman kicking the heck out of her dog or trying to control it, and the dog's cowering, I'll be first on the phone to the coppers, because again, animal cruelty. Just because they have a dog and and they're frustrated, maybe they're having a bad period, if you know what I mean, guys. But the guys might be having a bad go as well, because there's things not going right in their lives, and they take it out on the dog, and they didn't want to walk the dog, because dogs come with responsibilities. It's just as responsible owning a dog than it is having to be responsible with children. They're just an extension of your family, aren't they? And they love to be part of a family, not kept in a bloody kennel outside, just to guard the property. Dogs have been domesticated for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years now. And you would think we learn that if you give out hate, the dog will give out hate. Okay? If you give out love, the dog will be thinking, what's this? Maybe a new experience for a dog to be stroked and loved. Maybe it's a bit standoffish because it's been beaten in its previous tenancy with an arsehole that's given it up or left out on the street with no food and deserted it, and needs veterinary care. Well, there's nobody to pay for the vet care. Fortunately, the Birmingham Dogs Home does give free treatment to the dogs it takes in, and you can pay a token fee towards that if you want to, but when you adopt the dog, just to show goodwill. But before you dash out and buy yourself a new puppy from an established breeders, folks, consider the ones that are here waiting for a home now. And that, it's a bit like having a baby in the house. Or do you have a teenager, or do you have an adult? Well, it's best to, I think the babies come with all sorts of problems, don't they? They're out of hand. It's very nice to have a baby dog or a baby human. But sometimes even baby humans drive you nuts, don't they? You just want to, I wish there were 5 so I could play with them and they'd have a bit of conversation, a bit of fun, because little babies are not really that much fun once you get past the honeymoon period, if you know what I mean. It's like, oh dear, here they go again, getting us up at night, nappies, and it's all, you don't get much feedback for the first few months, do you? And it just looks at you and demands food or demands changing. And it's the same with a puppy. But then the magic happens. The puppy starts to be a bit more playful and a bit more accepting and a bit more trusting. and becomes part of the family rather nicely, and it grows up to be a fabulous dog. You get out from dogs what you put in it, if you know what I mean. Okay, you spend a lot of time showing love to your dog, it's going to give you a lot of love back. It'll actually end up defending your family to the death, more than likely. So don't knock it. It's part of your family, and you have to say it's part of your family. It's not, oh yes, this is us, me and the kids, and that's the dog. No. The dog is with the family. If you don't have that mindset, it'll always be ostracized out the side. It's not really part of the family. The dog should be part of your family. This is the way we look at it, and the way other dog lovers look at it, I'm sure. So if you're new to dogs, find a dog that's going to suit your temperament. If you want a lazy dog, there's plenty of lazy dogs. If you want a dog that does a lot of exercise and likes going running, and a border collie is the one for you. If you like running through huge fields, they seem to have energy that's just like Duracell's overload. So you've got to be pretty fit to keep a collie. The collies that whip around sheep to bring them out of the fields. Yeah, border collies. Me, I'm a golden retriever sort of person. My wife's a Cavalier freak, but I love Cavaliers too. And I don't have the energy nor the health anymore to go walking a golden retriever for miles, which they need. A lot of exercise equal to the collies in many ways. So, and it's a bit of a puller on the lead occasionally, until they get a bit older and they get a bit more mature. It takes a golden retriever a good 5 years to mature into an adult dog, quite frankly. Smaller the dog, the quicker they reach adulthood. It's not so much the same, is it, as humans? I mean, we can be well into adulthood but still think like a child. I've met many men like that. They've just got childish mentalities, and they don't want to learn anything new. They're set in their ways. A lot of dogs like that too. So dogs are man's best friend. They truly are, I think, man and woman's best friend. They can be all things. They can be guard dogs, they can be rescue dogs, they can be sniffer dogs for looking for drugs. The usefulness that dogs have done, even abroad with the servicemen, sniffing out explosives, seeing if they're carrying weapons. Blind dogs for the blind, and there's dogs for the deaf too. So it's a wonderful species to be involved with and invite into your house to give a home to. As I said, if you don't want to go and get a new puppy, and I advise you, if it's going to be your first dog, give a thought to the Birmingham Dogs Home. It's relatively new, about 6 years it's open now, and it's not too far from the airport in Birmingham. You can get out of the train station at Birmingham International, hop in a Uber and ask them to go to the Dogs Home, and you'll be pleasantly surprised how quick you're there. And the taxi drivers do take the dogs, despite many of the Muslim ones saying no, but some Muslim taxi drivers will say yes too. Depends. There's dog-friendly ones and not. So there's plenty of dog-friendly ones that'll take you if you've got a dog with you. But come along, have a look at the Dogs Home, and have an open mind. That's probably the best thing I can say. And if there's one that doesn't suit you there at all, and you've got plenty to choose from, give it a couple of days and go back, because they're always changing. People bring them in and they're getting exchanged all the time. And it's worth a go rather than going out buying a new puppy. Go and get a new dog that's got past the puppy stage, which is often the difficult stage. But they're still going to be young enough to want to find someone who will love them, and they're looking for someone to love. So it's a done deal. So before you go buying brand new puppies from established breeders, consider rehoming a dog, because heaven knows the number of dogs over the lockdown that were thrown out into the streets was quite disgusting in this country. It was a disgrace. And the RSPCA and the Dogs Homes were overrun. The amount of euthanasia that had to go on at that period because people just couldn't afford to feed their dogs. Cats maybe got away lightly, but the dogs got chucked out the door. And it's a shame. It's always the dogs that suffer when people don't make informed and right decisions. If you take on the responsibility of a dog, it's the same as becoming a parent. That's the way to think about it. And you should love your dog and take it to the vets when it's poorly. Don't say, I can't go, I can't afford it, and then sit there and smoke 40 fags a day. It costs her 20 quid. I don't go for this. You'd sell stuff in your house in order to pay for a vet if you loved your dog. You'd sell your last possession because you love your dog, because your dog's part of your family, and you'll treat it exactly the same as part of your family. And if your kids are that ill and your wife is or husband's that ill, you'll do anything to get medical or dental treatment sorted for them. And it costs. There's nothing free. Okay, PDSA is probably the bestest bet. People's Dispensary for Sick Animals. Give that a thought if you need to go to the vets. Yeah. And equally, take great care of your dogs. As for feeding our dogs, we just feed our dogs raw meat. It's mashed up, of course, a bit like a paste, but that's all they have. They're just meat eaters. They have no junk. Okay, they have their little occasional training treats, but we don't give them junk. We don't feed them anything else. Raw meat, maybe with a bit of cooked vegetable as a treat, and they are in perfect health. And get them inoculated, and don't miss their inoculations. This is all part of being a responsible dog keeper. But I urge you, if you're in the market for a dog, and I do understand one is not enough, but sometimes one is enough for many people. But I've only got 2 arms, and I've only got 2 hands, and I can only hold 2 leads. And I'm only grateful that I can only take 2 dogs out at the same time, because that's a struggle for me. But good luck to you if you can get 4 dogs and 4 leads and go out there. But I suggest you start with 1 dog that might be lonely, might be a companion dog, and that's for you. That's fantastic. But sometimes the dog gets lonely. And if you're going to work and leaving it locked in all day to be lonely, that's not very nice. It needs company. So if you're going to go out working, you and your husband or wife, think about the dog. It's there all day, and it needs a playmate. Think about it. It's no harder having 2 dogs than it is having 1, quite frankly. In fact, it's a lot less hassle because they'll play with each other instead of demanding attention from you. Just a thought, but this video is about the dogs. And please try and give a home to a dog from Birmingham Dogs Home. I don't work for Dogs Home, okay, but I'm an avid donator. And we have masses of food that we donate to the Dogs Home because, well, my wife's one of the unfortunate people that have to get up in the morning and, go to work, same as me. But I've retired now, but she hasn't. So I end up having to look after the dogs now. And, that's my retirement present. I see it as a pleasure, not a grind. Because you do anything for the things you love, won't you? And I love our dogs too. So consider, getting a dog. Think once, think twice. Don't get one. Go to the Dogs Home in Birmingham and see. And maybe you'll come away surprised and excited about having met the dog of your dreams. Okay, and thanks very much for listening. And the great thing about dogs is they just want to love you, and they just want love back. That's all they expect. So you better love them, and they'll look after you too. They are indeed man's, women's best friend. Take care. Thanks for watching.